So hi everyone. Um, so I think I found out what the issue is. Remember in one of the videos I told you that each time you build an application, you really need to tell your project, Django project, that hey, I've added an application. I need to be registered, and I told you you're supposed to connect the URLs. What I forgot to say is in the settings.py of the project folder, under installed application, that's line 33, you're actually supposed to add the name of this application in your project folder. Unfortunately, I forgot completely. So it's a list of different applications I'm supposed to add my application, that is home as well as base. um just gonna save it. It's really important that um you do that. Now when I do my py manage.py, make migrations. um this is interesting. So you can see that migrations from for it should telling me migrations for home. It has done a migration and created the my profile model. Now the next thing I'm going to do is manage the py migrate. So it's gonna migrate, and so if I do py and manage the py run server, um so aside the urls.py for the project folder, you also need to register um each application in the settings.py. um this is interesting, and it's pretty basic. I completely forgot. Now that I'm in my admin interface, if I refresh, you are now going to see the home app and the um my profile object, um which is a table. I've literally created a table, but I've not populated it. If I go to my SQL, if I click on my SQL, the database, if I go to home underscore profile, if I click down, you can see the first name, last name, middle name. Literally, you can actually see it there. And if I click on I don't know why it's okay. OID. Okay. So you can see by the time I click on my profile, you can see my table. It has already created my table, the columns, but it hasn't populated anything. Now, in order for me to populate it, I can just go to my admin interface and just do it and populate. First name, I'm gonna put Joseph. Oh, middle name, no middle name. Let's just see Joseph Jacobs. So you see, when I put default of 1 in my age, you can see that it already put 1. So um, if you want to change it, you can just change it. Say 30 state. Let's just say FCT address. Let's see 3 Gurara Street, Maitama, Abuja, and save. Oh, so it's saying that this field is required. Now it's prompting an error message, right? So it's saying that it cannot take null value. Now, in order for me to say, oh no, it can be null, I need to go back to my models.py. Under the middle name, I'll add another argument called blank or null, sorry. I'm gonna add an I and I'll say null equal true and save it. And like I said, anytime you make any changes, you need to make migrations. It tell me that I've done something. I've made altered field middle name and oh no, I'm not supposed to run server. I'm supposed to, yeah, I'm supposed to migrate. Then I can now run server. So by the time I refresh this, um, hopefully, okay, so it's still trying to run. Okay, so I can now leave it as sorry. So I'll add Joseph, Joseph, put middle name none. I'll just put Jacob. Let's say 21. State FCT. Say number 4, Gurara Street, Maitama, Abuja, and save. For some reason, it's still telling me that. Okay, so I think I am supposed to also add blank equal true. So null equal true, that it should be nullable, and blank equal true is that um I can enter a blank. um I can leave it as is blank. So I'm going to make migrations and migrate, then I would run server and I would repeat the same process, and hopefully this time around it does take null value. Let's say 21 FCT number 4 Gurara Street Maitama Abuja. Save. Yeah, so it has already taken null. Now you can see that it's showing me my profile Joseph Jacob, and that's because of this function. If I remove this particular function and I save and I run, it's going to display my profile object one, that is my profile class object one. I've added an object. Remember, Python is object oriented programming with the advent of classes. So this enables the visual display of my name, of my Python object, just a visual display. I could decide to go and see, I'll add maybe state, for instance. So I can say dash, then I will say self dot state and save, refresh. You can see it's gonna show me Jacob like that. Now in the event I want to now display it in my front end, that is in my um HTML page, I want to display my profile in my HTML page. Let's say in my home page, I want to display it as a list here. How do I go about that? You would go about it by writing that particular logic in your views. And since I want to write it in my home page, I can come and say I'm going to create, I can create a variable to view all profile. I can say all underscore profile as a variable. Now Python, like Django, like when we say Python is object oriented, literally it is. Before then, I want to call this Python class here in the models.py. I would need to import my models.py in the views.py. I will say from home.views, from home.models, import my profile. That way I can use it. Now I can now access my profile by saying my profile dot objects dot all. So give me all the objects inside my profile. Remember when we went to the backend interface and we changed, we removed or we commented our function here that this give us a visual display, and we refreshed it. Remember, it was telling you my profile object 1. So this object itself is what you're actually calling that my profile, all the objects you've actually created. Now in order for me to be able to display these particular profiles of this all profile in my HTML, I will need to add it to my context as we did for the title, and I'll say I can say display all underscore profile as the name, then that's as the key, then the value pair will be all profile, and that's just it. It's now for me to go to my home template. Where is it? My index.html in my template, and go to index.html. Under it I can now say double curly braces, the same way we did for in the base for this hello, to display the title. Is the same way we are going to do for our index, and say double curly braces. And what did I name? What was the key in my dictionary? What was the key? That's what we are going to call. If we call the key, is going to give us the value. So display all profile, right? Control C. I'm going to say Control V. Now what? So if it's just one, it's going to show us an error. Like it's going to show us an error, and by the time I go to my home page and refresh, you can see it's saying query set my profile Joseph FCT, right? We don't want that. What we want to do is, because you might have multiple entries, we are going to loop through those entries. So let's just say it's Yakub, let's say 35, let's say state is Kogi, let's say 7, Wallace Street, Lokoja, and I save, right? It's showing me this. I've created Musa Yakub from Kogi State. Now if I refresh, look at what it's going to give me. This is not readable. We don't want it. What we want to do is to display it to human readable format. So we are going to loop through this our display.all. Now for us to loop, we are going to call the for loop, right? For literally, and we will do it the way we did this our block content. We now say for profile in what? In all. So I will say for profile in display all profile, then we'll now call profile. So give us every profile. And the funny thing is that you can actually do it in a list. So we can put it in an ordered list, right? Do the for loop in it, and we will now create, and of course you always end your for loop. You literally have to do end for loop, and we will now say list, and Okay, sorry, hold on. So this profile now, um we can now ask, this profile is all the, you are iterating through your list of display all profile, right? That's, you are iterating through all the objects that you have in this my profile. That is Musa, Yakub, Joseph, Joseph, Jacob, right? Now you can now call any number of things you want to actually display here. So you can say this profile dot, maybe first name, like that, last name. You now have access to call um any of the variables inside my profile object. So I can say profile dot first name underscore name. It doesn't have a last name, it doesn't have a middle name. I'll put middle name, um and I can see age, state, for instance, state. Let's do it this way. Say state, then we don't need to put address, at least for now. And we'll save it. By the time we go back to our home page and refresh, you can see it is now displaying in a human readable format. Now watch what happens if I decide to sorry, if I decide to add another profile. Let's see, um Helen. You can put a middle name called um, Paul. Again, last name, oh, okay, middle name will be her name. Let's just see, um, Ukama. Again, it does. Then we say Paul as the last name. Then her age is 50. She's from Edo. We just call one Koyi close, for instance. We just call Benin City, then Edo, then we save. Now by the time I refresh my home page, you can see automatically it has now displayed our heirloom. And it's pretty interesting. You can actually design it to do crazy things. Now let's just say a case in point, I wanted to add the middle name, if any, in my in my in this particular um for loop. I can say middle name. Now for those that don't have middle name, it's gonna show me none. Right, it's gonna show me none. The ones that have will display, so it's gonna show me none because there is none. How do I make it human readable? What I can do is to add an if condition. I can now say if, or if statement, and if. So if profile name exists, so I will just say if profile dot middle name. What it means is that if profile dot middle name exists, uh, um, display it, otherwise don't. And once I refresh it, um, you can see um, those with middle name like Hurley came out. Those that didn't, it just reverted to the old way. And we can still modify it by creating a table and doing a for loop. So I can just say table, and say table header. We'll do um, mm, table header. We'll do table row. Um, Inside my table header, I'm gonna say table data. I will say first name. I can say middle name, last name, and I will say age, um, state, address, state. I can say state, and the last one I can say address. And in my table row, I'm gonna repeat this table data. Uh, but this time around, I'm gonna copy the for loop. I'm gonna loop through it. I'm just gonna take it up and end for um then I'm going to so I think I'm going to leave it this way because I want to be able to edit stuff like this, um like this, just so that to make my life pretty easy. And so I will take my profile dot first name to first name, and like that. So I will stop here. In the next video we are going to continue, and we'll do a display of this name in the table. I hope you guys have learned, and it has benefited you all. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop here now.